Hey crew, first off, Happy New Year, and I wish you all the best in 2022, and thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. I can't wait to see what Witch Queen and 2022 has in store for all of us together here. I slowed this gameplay down because I want you to see that we have an infinite melee ability that we're just looping over and over, and in a second here, we're going to slap this Lost Sector boss for 439,000 damage, which is pretty crazy, especially on a Warlock. We're combining a bunch of different mods to make sure we always have our melee charge up. Combined with our subclass, mods, and exotics, it allows us to put out some crazy damage. Before we get into that, we have a sponsor today on the video. You guys know how much I love builds, and Raid Shadow Legends allows me to build and customize like crazy. I have so many different champions with a ton of different builds and team synergy to help me take down all the different bosses. Speaking of bosses, Raid Shadow Legends just released the new boss called the Hydra. This is a 6-headed boss, which is pretty tough, and you fight it as a clan to earn some awesome rewards. The Head of Blight is all about poison. It poisons you, and it leeches you, and it protects itself in a poison cloud, which makes it super hard to hit. But fortunately, you can counter it with an HP burn, and that also helps counter the poison cloud as well. The Head of Torment is terrifying, constantly applying true fear on your guys. The only way to stop it is by hiding your champion with veil buffs, which isn't easy to get a hold of. The Head of Mischief loves your buffs and wants them all for itself. It targets the champion with the most buffs, then steals them and spreads those stolen buffs to all the other heads. It's a nightmare to deal with. The Head of Wrath is a super angry damage dealer. It weakens and provokes your team, and when you've hit it 15 times, it gets a new buff called Vengeance, tripling its attack power. It can wipe you out in one hit, pretty dang easily. The Head of Decay is about tearing you down and building up its allies. It makes your team's healing actually lower their HP, so healing isn't always a good thing here, and it also can put out a life barrier on other heads. If you can't break it fast, they'll be fully healed. And then lastly, we have the Head of Suffering, and it's the Hydra's main tank head. It brings a horrible new debuff called Pain Link, which causes your champions to take some damage whenever you attack the Head of Suffering. It shares the suffering, and it's the worst. On top of the awesome new Hydra boss, Raid is giving away a super limited edition champion to every player. It is esports legend Navi Superstar Simple. Between now and January 28th, Simple's limited edition champ is available for free to both new and old players in Raid. All you have to do is log in for 7 days between now and January 28th and he's yours. And if you miss him, he is gone forever, so get him while you can. There's a ton happening in Raid this month. To start off, Raid's releasing a bunch of awesome new champions, along with a brand new Faction Wars crypt for one of my favorite factions, the Shadowkin. It's gonna be amazing, and I can't wait for the crypt to open up so I can dive in and see what it's all about. On top of that, there's a ton of New Year events and tournaments, including a special fusion event where you can get one of Raid's newest legendary champions. If you use my link in the description or scan my QR code, you'll get a free starter pack worth almost $30 to kickstart your game. We're talking a free champion in Tyrell, and Tyrell is a great champion. He drops a AoE decreased defense, which is awesome. You also get 200k silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 agent surge, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in the game. The rewards will be available only for the next 30 days and only for new players, so take advantage of it. I thoroughly enjoyed Raid, and I am level 90 on my account. So come join me, click that link in the description, and give it a shot. You won't be disappointed. Thank you so much to Raid for sponsoring this video, and now we move on to the subclass here. We have Atomic Breach. This melee ability creates a void explosion. Then we also have Dark Matter. Void ability kills grant health and melee, grenade, and class ability energy. So these are the two perks we're taking advantage of within the subclass to basically chain our melee. So we always have this melee up, and then Dark Matter helps us refill the melee, and then the mods are going to add extra to getting that melee back. For our damage boost, we're using the exotic Winter's Guile. We have Warlord's Sigil here as the exotic perk. Eliminating enemies with melee attacks increase your melee damage. This stacks up to 5 times. It's basically like a Worm God's Crest for the Titan, but we have it over here on the Hunter. And then we also have 1-2 punch on a shotgun, so make sure you're using some shotgun with 1-2 punch. Hitting an enemy with every pellet and a shot increases melee damage for a short duration. And then we're also using Cryosthesia, and that's for our instant freeze to get the bonus to melee damage when a frozen target, right? And then we also have Focusing Lens on our mod to gain extra damage on top of this. Now for the mods to loop the Atomic Breach melee over and over and over, we have Melee Wellmaker, Powered Melee Combatant, Final Blows spawn elemental wells, matching your subclass energy type. This is how we spawn our wells. And we're going to create 2 Void Wells with Melee Wellmaker because we have Bountiful Wells on. So we double up on the 2 wells. So between those 2 Void Wells, when we use our charged melee, We can get our melee back because we are charged with light with elemental charge from picking up that well, and we're spending that on heavy-handed. While charged with light, regain half of your melee energy when you use your charged melee ability. So when we use that charged melee ability, we're getting half of it back with heavy-handed. We're getting another quarter of it back from dark matter within the subclass. Void ability kills grant melee energy, and then we're getting the rest of it back from the 2 void wells that drop out of the melee kill. That's how you loop dark matter over and over, which is the biggest damage on top of everything. Because I've tried this with other classes and it works pretty good, but this is by far the most damage. And this is straight up for fun gameplay. This is for your normal strikes, gambit, whatever you're doing, just to have fun on the Nova Warp subclass and enjoy yourself. I tried it in 1320s, 1350s in the dungeon, and it did not perform very well. If you're going to use a melee build, you might as well use the Titan one, or even the Hunter one is a lot better than this one because the survivability with this one just isn't there yet. Now, if we were able to switch things up, so maybe with Void 3.0 coming with Witch Queen, it might be there, because if we could take something from Bottom Tree, Devour, and healing ourselves after every kill, and still using Atomic Breach and Dark Matter, there's a possibility there. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm really excited for that. But I'll have to wait to see if we're able to mix and match different things like that within fragments and aspects of Void 3.0. Hopefully it's a possibility, but we'll see. But I did switch to Bottom Tree Devour, and I basically ran the same setup, except I switched out, instead of heavy-handed, I switched out that for Protective Light, so for some more protection. And you definitely can one-punch a champion in a 1320 and a 1350. As some of the gameplay you're watching you guys have seen. So that's pretty easily to do, which is awesome. And it is possible, but it's not quite there, right? The survivability still isn't there. You have to get too close with the Warlock, and it just doesn't work properly like it does on the Hunter or the Titan. But for fun activities and go and enjoy yourself and one-shotting things, it's really fun. Nova Warp's a lot better. It's a fun super. And handheld Supernova is really fun too. And you can combo that with Cryosthesia. So this is more of a fun build. Take advantage of it wherever you guys want. I really enjoy it. It's fun for me personally. So I hope you guys like it. The rest of the wells, I was running Well of Tenacity. Picking up a Void Elemental Well reduces the damage you take, but it's just not as good as Protective Light. I wish it was, but it's not. And then on my helmet, I also was running Hands-On, getting bonus super energy on melee kills. So obviously, we get a bunch of super energy on the melee kills, and we can go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. There's a couple of videos on screen. If you haven't seen them, make sure to give them a watch, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching my content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.